Good evening, everybody. This is Andal Starb Saber once again. I'm here with my son Raymond as well. He's watching on because, like I mentioned, he's an aspiring YouTube um, personality. But we're gonna go ahead and
Hi.
go. Yeah, say hi, Raymond.
I just said hi.
Yeah, I'm sorry, he did. But anyway, I just got my squad arena complete. Right now, I'm set at number 2 because it's tonight belongs to one of my friends here, Mr. Angry Thumbs. So I'm going to let him go ahead and take the lead if he ever gets there. I guess he's in 9th. That's not too far away. But yeah, we trade off. That's kind of the drug deal we got brokered here, but it's a pretty good deal because I'll take my what is it? I'll take my 850 and 450 and have an easy climb over trying to have to work too hard for the 500, 900 every time and have everything out for my blood. So I highly suggest if people can get in contact with your shard, if you want to take the top spot, go ahead and do that. It will save you a lot of angst along the way. Usually the people in your shards are pretty friendly, and they'll generally watch your back too. If you got people who are outside of the shard who like to snipe you at the last minute, they'll sometimes run interference for you and give you a nice clean climb. Which brings me to our topic for the video discussion tonight. We're going to go ahead and talk about Mr. Zev Stillwater at his request here. So he is again a member of Dark Phoenix Rising, our startup guild. He's one of the more promising members by my take on things here. As you can see, he's already ranked at 69 in the arena and 3 in the fleet arena, so he's well on his way to success, and he may actually get quite a bit higher on the arena rankings. I don't know when his payouts are. We're going to go ahead and look at his roster and see if there's any way we can help him out here. So now, he's kind of in the same situation as XX Revan X is. Not a big galactic power. I don't know him very well because we're never in the same guild together, but you look like you're relatively new to the game. You don't have a very large, diverse roster. However, you've invested pretty well into some of the meta capabilities out here, and you've got a pretty good start there. You got a full Revan team. That's impressive for someone who's relatively new to the game. You also have Chewbacca in your roster, which is impressive. And let me see. I didn't see if you had 3PO yet. Let's go ahead and check that real quick. Probably quickest way other than typing the name of the resistance. No, you don't have 3PO yet, which isn't too surprising. And that's not the end of the world. You're doing a pretty good job at building your roster. Now it's just a matter of growing here. Now you're at the point right now, you have a lot of the big stuff. Keep growing those. They're not all leveled out to level gear 12. That's another difference between you and XX Revan X. You've got some gearing to do. Doesn't look like it's too bad. Looks like your Jedi Revan's pretty close to gear 12 by the looks of it. And keep on working that. You got your Jolie Bindo, your Grandmaster Yoda at gear 12. And I noticed that you specifically did the Zeta not in the leader ability. That's good. No rush to get that leader ability because he's not one of the best leaders available to Jedi right now. You got a 7-star Jango Fett. You have a lot of different options available to you here. So keep working those. I would bring up your Galactic Republic as well here. They're doing very good right now. I don't know how your Separatists are, so that may be a stopping point because Padme will come around again eventually. And it looks like that's going to take you a bit to get there. I would work on them offhand, but I wouldn't make them a priority in your case. Doesn't look like you're super close to the Old Republic Padme team. You may just want to focus on your Jedi Knight Revan capabilities right now because it's quite capable. If you're having trouble making it at the top because of all the Darth Revans mallet combinations going around, hopefully you can still view my Thrawn on the Jedi Knight Revan team, which is very capable of defeating even the top meta teams. Look into that because that may be your salvation there. It's very hard to say in your case what you're up against. Again, I don't know you that well, but you've done a good job at building your team, so you seem like you're You know what you're doing relatively well. Now, Ship Arena, you're doing very well. Looks like probably must be a new shard because this is definitely not meta teams you're using. You've got a good Houndstooth there. I don't know if you keep it in the back part of your lineup or not. Um, you're using probably 2-3 metas ago team here, and nothing wrong with that. If it's obviously working for you because you're getting well up there in the rankings. But I mean, you got some work there to do too. And what I would do with the ships, if anything, you already got your Xanadu blood. And let me see, do you have your... No, you do not. You do not have your... Oh, yeah, you do have your Egg 2000. Keep working your Egg 2000, your Xanadu blood. Get yourself to 7-star. Get your Houndstooth to 7-star. Those would be areas you could probably focus on for ships for now, and I wouldn't really worry too much about that. You seem to be doing pretty well in ships, so I'm not going to say you have a lot of work to do because obviously you don't. You're doing pretty well in your shard, and if you just want to continue to dominate, if you're getting 3 now with the team you have, I guarantee if you bring Millennium Falcon into the mix, you're going to be claiming the top spot, and they may have trouble unseating you the way things are right now. But again, I don't know your shard. You may have a lot of Falcons, and it could be you just have a very creative way to take them down, which kudos on you. That's not something a lot of people learn how to do, especially with a 6-star capital ship. So now, looking at your arena team and looking at your modding strategy, I can see you've got a lot of offense and some health on your Jedi Knight Revan. What you don't have here is a lot of speed. By not having a lot of speed, you sometimes surrender a lot of your opportunities to use your direct focus ability. Direct focus ability, Jedi Knight Revan teams tend to win when you can use it first. So what my recommendation to you is, you got to up your speed somehow. I don't know how long you've been modding. I don't know what mods you have. I would suggest focusing on trying to, first of all, go ahead, check out our modding 101 video if you haven't. That might give you some pointers. Look for that speed in their secondaries. Level those things up. Try to make your Jedi Knight Revan as fast as you can. Realistically speaking, if you want to get in the top spots of your arena, especially with Darth Revans coming into play, you're going to need probably somewhere in the vicinity of 300 speed total. That's a combination of mods and gear, and keep in mind that Gear 12 Plus gives 6 apiece, so that helps bridge the gap a little bit. Again, you're working with what you got. I understand that. You're doing pretty well. I mean, 69 is nothing to sneeze at, but if you want to improve, that's one way to do it. Now, I see you've also put a lot of speed on Grandmaster Yoda, which is actually, and you got him a little faster, so maybe you want to consider actually doing a mod swap here. Grandmaster Yoda gets a lot of turn meter from his abilities, especially his Ataru. When his Ataru hits, you're going to gain a lot of turn meter for they have more than 50% health, which is a lot of the time. And so I would actually maybe consider just trying out swapping out your mods on Grandmaster Yoda and Jedi Knight Revan. See if that causes you a benefit, because with all that offense on Revan, you really don't need all that offense as much on Revan. You really want the speed, and you have a lot of plus offense here. Excuse me. And you have, let me see here. You actually have a higher crit damage percentage on here as well. Those are both things that Grandmaster Yoda can take advantage of. Definitely want to increase on that. What I'd recommend specifically on Grandmaster Yoda is crit damage and crit hit sets, because when you start fighting against the Darth Revan, you don't have to deal with all the crit immunity all the time. You're going to get a lot more use out of it, a lot more bang for the buck. Looking at your Bastila here, actually, you've even put more speed on her. Huh. Interesting choice here. I might actually I changed my mind again. Looking at this the way it is, I would move all those mods to generate Revit and try it out. See how it does for you. It may or may not work out for you, but you can get a lot of control of your match when you have generate Revit be as fast as possible. So what I would consider doing is maybe move these mods to generate Revan, move his mods to Grandmaster Yoda, and move Grandmaster Yoda's mods over to Bastila, and see what that does for you. So all three of those things, I can see you're modding the right direction. It's just kind of funky in the turnover order. I would make your effort to make your generate Revan very fast. Grandmaster Yoda not as fast. Bastila pretty fast. Now looking at your General Kenobi here, it looks like you put a lot of health. That's not necessarily bad or a good thing. Not buying you a lot right now. Not a lot of survivability. Not a lot of tenacity. Let me see. Decent amount of speed, which I guess you probably put in for some speed there. I would look at increasing some survivability stats where you can. So what I would do is look for things like, okay, you have plus health on your multiplexer. I would look for something with a tenacity bonus, and you can keep it in the health category if you like, and look for specifically to increase your health capabilities. What you got right there, 240 on health, that's good. You want to look for the plus health capability. Plus protection, not as big a deal right now, but look for the plus health where you can get it. Percentage health, not as important, but the 608 health, that's pretty good. And you got the defense on that. That's also a good thing to have for your tanks. But try to get that tenacity up, because the one thing I can pretty much guarantee you in the grand scheme of things, if you don't have good tenacity on General Kenobi, you can get a lot of buff blocks and things like that will make your General Kenobi kind of sit on the sidelines and really not do as much for you as you'd like. Speed is okay, but it's really not too critical for your General Kenobi. Jolie Bindo. Let's see what you did for Jolie Bindo. Not a lot of survivability here. Not horrible, but could be better. I would try to make him a bit healthier. 50,000 would be a good target for the health. I can see you put a lot of speed on there, and it's not necessarily a bad thing to have with Jolie Bindo, but I would actually put more effort into getting his health up right now. If you're in mirror matches specifically with Generate Revan, one of the things that tends to end the fight very quickly is if your Jolie Bindo gets taken out first. And so you want to make it as frustrating for them as humanly possible. You might get a little bit more from your mods here. Let's see. Not really. Again, I think the speed mods could be better utilized elsewhere. I would try to look at getting the best use out of those speed mods. Maybe put them on like Hermit Yoda or something if you have it. I forget if you put that in your roster. Let me check real quick. Well, you don't. Okay, not the end of the world. That's something you probably have in a lot of territory battles to sift through from all the credits there, and that's okay. I would keep it for purposes like that, though, and try to focus on making your Jolie Bindo a little more beefy if you can, and figure out which of those speed mods are best to whom. Make Revan faster. That's the thing I want to get through to you here. Make it faster. However you got to do it. 219, that's not buying you much at all. You want him almost basically 80 speed higher than what you got him right now if you really want to make good use out of him and really come up a long way in your arena. I would look into that, do what you can there. Try it out, experiment, see what it does for you. I forget where I uploaded it to, a Generate Revan mirror match video as well, kind of give you some pointers. So if you're up against those teams, you can kind of plan that out. And also, another consideration here, your Thrawn. And this is where I would throw probably your next Zeta suit on your ebb and flow. your ebb and flow makes that fracture a lot more potent than it was before. So I would, when you're looking prioritizing Zetas, that would be one that's high on my list if I was you in your situation. And then once you got your Jedi Revan team where you need it, start to focus on other areas. I would say bounty hunters are a big one. Build up your Bosk. That's huge. He makes your Houndtooth, which can be extremely effective for your ship's team. And he's a very good character. I mean, he makes your bounty hunter squads, I'll be candid. And that's how, I mean, if you want to get that 7-star Chewbacca, I don't know if you can do it without him. If you do, that's, I mean, you can, but it's impressive if you manage to pull that off, because that sounds pretty wicked frustrating to me. I mean, it's kind of surprising to me that you have Jango Fett, not Bosk, but I mean, that's cool. I don't. You've done a good job overall. Don't take my criticism as anything other than steps towards excellence, because that's what I think they are. You're doing pretty well already. You just need to take it to the next level a little bit. Now I notice you only leveled some of your old Republic tunes up to 75 here. Now it got your Revan. I can't complain about that per se. As resources allow, build all these guys up. Every single one of them up to 85. Build them up in their gear. Eventually that will lead you to Malak. It won't be today, it won't be tomorrow. But as long as there's credits, if you have a credit heist, something like that, you feel like you can spend some, go ahead and bring some of these guys up. They're very good with your Grand Marine. They're good, very good with your territory wars. They're very good on in territory battles. They're good in a lot of contexts. They're not your arena meta team, but then again, you won't regret building them up either. You have pretty much all of your hero's journey characters except Darth Revan. I mean, you pretty much know what you got to do there. You got to build up your Old Republic Sith Empire characters. So you got your Old Republic characters. You just need to build them up. Your Sith Empire, same thing. HK-47, excellent character. You need to build them. You need to gear them. Probably your Sith Trooper as well. I don't know what your credit situation is, but these are ways that you can build up. And as you go along here, what I'd recommend here, unless you're really just Grand Arena focused, is start to bring some of these characters up to level 53. 53 is that nice little sweet spot where you can take a lot of advantage, gear them up to roughly gear 7. You can start to put mods on them, and you can much more easily climb from 53 to 85 than you would if you had to climb from 1 to 85. It's pretty substantial, and it's really not that expensive to bring them up to 53. So that's a good get started there. Yeah, I see why you don't have C-3PO. You don't even have Chief Chirpa built up, so that's a factor, I'm sure. Eventually, you're going to have to spend some credits over the next several months. I mean, there's no way around that. I would consider not investing in mods for a while for you, just because of the amount of characters that are good characters that you'll probably want to level here. I don't know if you want to focus on, say, Geonosis and Spy, because unless the Separatist who focuses on making him excellent, he's not necessarily a big one for you. But I would say your Droideka, bring him up. I would say your B1 Battle Droid, bring him up. I would say your Sith Trooper, bring him up. I would say Rex, definitely bring him up. He's useful in a lot of contexts. Chief Chirpa, definitely bring him up. Build your UART team. Eventually, you want that C-3PO. That's what makes you competitive in raids. Candace Ordero, take him up to 85. Juhani, take her up to 85. These are all steps you're going to need to do if you really want to build out your teams. Poplo's going to have to come up to 85. Logray's going to have to come up to 85. You have to get him 7-star. You got room to climb, and the advice I gave to XX Revan X is kind of the same advice I gave to you. Don't get to the point where you're throwing stuff everywhere you see it and wasteful. You've done a very good job of being focused to get where you are today. Keep doing that, but I would say as resources become available, we start to level your characters, and as gear becomes available, focus on the ones you're working on. Get your arena team up to gear 12 plus as much as you can, and just keep working that. Try to get your arena score higher. If you have questions about how to beat certain teams in arena, that's something we can address, even if in a video if it's required. Because a lot of people in our guild, even in the Dark Phoenix Squadron guild, do use Gen 8 Revan team. Most of us don't have the Darth Revan mallet combination, so I can't even tell you how I would do in what situation for that. But I do have a Darth Revan. I don't have the mallet yet. That's something that'll come the next time. But these are all ways you can improve yourself. Eventually get your BB-8 second Zeta. That's actually a pretty important one to have, because when you're trying to raid with that, that's where you get a lot of your damage out of that, is when by pulling another resistance member. So these are all things you can do. Again, I would say keep it focused. Get your arena squad to take you into the top 50 consistently and make it maybe even harder. I don't know what your shard looks like, but try to take advantage of that. And then just keep building out. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So you're going to have to treat it accordingly. Focus on the things you want to focus on, and then move on to the next thing. I mean, all in all, I can tell you've done a very good job in gearing out your roster. You have work to do, but I can tell that although you put in a very good focused effort into it, I can also tell you haven't been doing it very long, unless you just took a really substantial break somewhere. But in the grand scheme of things, I'd say keep doing what you're doing. You're not on the wrong track in any way, shape, or form. You just got work to do, and you probably haven't seen it yet. Maybe you saw it in the other video, but I can even tell you areas where I have work to do, and look, you can see where my galactic power is. I want to gear 12 more characters. I need more mods. There are certain Zetas. Some characters, not too many, they still need to farm shards for them. Venus is actually a pretty big one. There are ways I can improve my roster too, and it's just a incremental type of experience, and you just gotta have patience and perseverance, and you'll get there. And you'll notice you have a lot more flexibility when you do. Once your roster is deeper and you can begin to do other things you weren't able to do previously, that can make a pretty huge difference in the overall. So very good work. I can tell you're on the right track. You're probably looking at your roster capabilities, you're probably high on the list of candidates who, if we don't get the Dark Phoenix Rising at the heroic Sith Raid level, maybe having you swap out and give you a chance at some of these things, just based on what you've done so far, because you've obviously put in the effort, and now it's just making sure it's paid off very well. And then, if you're wondering why I keep pushing Arena so much, you just want to keep a look at, I want to remind you of this. This is what I'm going to be getting tonight, 850 and 450. That can do a substantial amount. And when I also pull off number 1, which will happen a little closer to my payout, you can see I'm getting 850 crystals tonight just from the 2 arenas, because I'll be hopping in the number 1 spot once the guy who's currently occupying it goes through his payout in a little bit. These are ways you can improve yourself, keep the positive trend you've been doing. Great job, Zev Stillwater. I think you're on the right track, very much so. It's just a matter of keep it on the course you're on, and getting where you need to be, taking the next level. That's all I have for this video. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.